and gangly 12 and 13-year-olds into the young men and women that you are today. Young men and women who have written seemingly 1,000 essays and sat for 1 million APs, who have interned all over the country and world. I followed your blog this year. And who are now prepared to leave the familiar and close-knit environment for the uncertainty and excitement of the world beyond high school. I was only 25 when we met. So in a way, I feel that I've grown up along with you. And helping you through the upper school made me think a lot about what it means to be an adult, about the example I wanted to set, and about the mark I wanted to leave on you and the world beyond basis. And though I don't think I'm capable of describing the full measure of the impact my experience with you had on my life, just trust that I'm a better person for it, and I don't think I would be who I am today if it weren't for all of you. I've missed everyone the past year. My friends in Washington have heard all about you little basis weirdos. And that moniker is meant to be affectionate, of course. And don't think that it doesn't apply to your teachers as well. So again, it means a lot to me to be here tonight. I say that I feel privileged to be the one to address you tonight because any number of your teachers or members of the Tucson community are more educated and accomplished, older and wiser, and therefore probably more qualified to speak to you about the next steps in your lives or how you should reflect on the last several years or whatever else might make for an appropriate graduation speech. And because you're graduates of one of the top few schools in America, which places you among the best young adults this country has to offer, any number of those qualified individuals would have been thrilled to speak to you tonight. But you got me instead. And to be honest, I struggled with what to say to you. I did a lot of research, I watched a lot of commencement addresses online, and I realized at some point that I wouldn't be able to approximate any of them without sounding at least somewhat insincere. I think it's difficult to take seriously advice from someone who, in my opinion at least, has yet to experience so many of its important aspects for himself. So I've been thinking a lot, and I realized, though you may never have thought of it, and it might sound a little bit odd, but you and I are part of the same generation. The so-called millennials, or Generation Y, or whatever you want to call them. Those born between about the early 1980s and 2000. So I decided that I wanted to address you all as budding adults, who will soon emerge from college and graduate school, people with whom, as the years pass, I will interact with more frequently as equals and less frequently as students. I want to use this as an opportunity to say, welcome to the world. Or more specifically, welcome to our world. Having just turned 30, I'm among the very oldest of our generation. It hurts. You all were born towards the tail end. And we're the first group of people who, practically since birth, computers and the internet are a part of daily life. We're the first generations of Americans who became or are becoming adults in the 21st century. Our cultural and political consciousness is being shaped in a world that's faster, more connected, more competitive, and maybe a little more dangerous than the world in which our predecessors grew up may have seemed. The challenges we'll face, some of them new and some inherited, are significant and they'll require cooperation and initiative from the best that this generation has to offer. But despite the trials we'll surely encounter in the coming years and decades, I can't think of a time in which I would rather be living. Because despite all of that, I believe the world we're inheriting is a good place. I believe that you all represent the best of what this generation is and can be. And never have I met such an impressive group of young people who display every day the qualities we should all hope to see in a generation. Such as the empathy for the marginalized and the least among us, demonstrated by those like Allie Hill and Janai Longstaff. I honestly do not think I've seen a selfish act from either of those girls since the 8th grade. Such as the enthusiasm for knowledge and new ideas displayed by the Galen Kronemeyers and the Josh Mannings. Regardless, Josh, of your constant struggle to get your homework turned in. Like the seemingly effortless optimism of Hassan Farah and the self-proclaimed Three Latinas, Fatima Bravo, Andrea Carranza, and Natalie Amaro. And finally, the good humor of those like Priscilla Beck, Connor Kissel, and Grace Keel. Even if at times your jokes and Connor, let's say, illustrations were unrelenting, if not downright inappropriate. For those of you I've missed, I apologize. I'm proud of all of you. And I have so many great memories of our time together that I could go on all night. But we have a ceremony to finish and you have celebrating to do. So I'd like to end my speech with a challenge to the class of 2013. And it's this. For as long as you have the energy, be bold. Beware of cynicism because it blinds you to the details that make the world an interesting and challenging place. And whatever you do, don't be afraid to fail or even to get into a little bit of trouble. Because your past is not what matters. What matters most is how your past informs your approach to the future. And in whichever environment you choose to apply your talents and ambition, whether it's business or medicine or public service, make sure that when you leave, it matters that you were there at all. And I'll end there. Thank you for having me. Good luck and congratulations to the Basis Tucson class of 2013.